I welcome us all to today's tutorials on how to write projects or research reports with Sunday Eze Uchenna. This is our lecture 6. And if you are just joining us, try to go and watch the other videos we must have done before watching this particular one so that you will not miss out of anything. Today, we'll be looking at chapter 2, how to write chapter 2 of project, and it is titled Review of Literature. And the specific objectives here is that by the end of this lesson, the learner should be able to write conceptual framework, theoretical framework, empirical framework, and summary of related literature. What is review of literature? This is a chapter, or let me say, this is the second chapter in research report or project report. It embodies the review of all literature relevant to the problem being investigated. What does this English mean? What we are trying to say here is that it is under the review of literature that you are going to discuss your variables in details. And how do you discuss them in details? For you to be able to discuss it successfully, it is in this chapter that you're not just coming to discuss the variables alone. You are also coming here to also show your readers relevant literatures, what other people might have said regarding that problem, and then you will be able to draw attention to the gaps you must have noticed, those missing links you must have noticed that have not yet been solved by those previous research work that has been done regarding that problem. It is in this chapter now that you draw the attention of the learners to help you also see those problems that have not yet been solved. Because for you to be able to start up a research work, you notice a gap, you notice an unanswered question, and you have done all those things on your own personally. So here you bring it out to the public so that also those people who will be reading your work will know, yes, that truly that this work that I'm about to read like this, that I'm about to go through, actually is worthy of study. Do you understand? So that is what we do here. And for us to be able to carry out this review of literature properly, we organize it in certain steps, and these steps includes conceptual framework, theoretical framework, related empirical study, as well as any other subheadings that will be necessary to adequately cover all the concepts, variables, and issues which are important to the topic or problem under investigation. So in order to make our understanding of this chapter very easy, I pick out a topic, a correlation study on the influence of information and communication technology in teaching and learning of biology in Zongo Nkataf local government of Kaduna State, to be as our guide. So let's begin the steps. The first step in a conceptual framework, after you must have listed out everything in the first page, then it is here that you're going to discuss them in details. And what are these things you are going to discuss in detail? The first one is conceptual framework. Under this conceptual framework, it is the visual representation of the relationship between key concepts, variables, and ideas in your research study. It provides a clear understanding of how your research variables are connected and helps to guide your investigation. So we are going to, let me explain what this long English is trying to say. Here is trying to tell us, just like I mentioned earlier, that under conceptual framework, this is where all those variables you introduced in your chapter 1, this is where you discuss them in details. And as you are discussing them in details, remember what I taught us in chapter 1, the use of in-text citation. You don't just discuss them as if you are writing an essay. No, here you discuss it by introducing what other scholars, other previous researchers must have said regarding that variable. This is where you introduce it. This person said this person said this regarding this. Then at the end of everything, after you must have introduced what previous scholars have said about a particular variable, you wrap it up with your own. So I gave us some steps that will guide us on how to do this conceptual framework. And these steps are, the first one is you have to define key concepts and variables. After that, identify relationship between those variables you have defined in the beginning. Are you getting me? All those concepts and variables you have defined and discussed in the beginning. This time around, you will come and then discuss the relationship between those variables. So I'm going to use that topic on information and communication technology to explain what I mean. Under influence of information and communication technology on teaching and learning of biology in Zangon Kataf local government, if you check from that topic, I'm able to bring out that ICT is my independent variable, while the teaching and learning of biology is my dependent variable. So these are two variables that I was able to bring out, and inside these two variables that I've brought out now, I can be able to extract my concept from there. And what are the concepts I can be able to extract from there? I can extract ICT as a concept. I can extract teaching as a concept. I can extract learning as a concept. I can extract biology as a concept. And I can also extract academic achievement as a concept. So this concept now, I'm going to discuss them one after the other. Are you getting me? So for example, I'm going to discuss biology. I will first of all say, okay, this scholar define biology as this scholar define biology as this, according to this person, biology is this, according to this person, biology is this. But for this study, I am defining biology as this. So you see now I've finished defining my concept. Then after defining the concept, the step 2 now said identify relationship between the variables. So now the next thing I'm going to do now is for me to start discussing how biology relates to learning, the relationship between biology and learning, relationship between biology and teaching, relationship between biology and ICT. Then after I've finished discussing that, I'm done with I'm done with biology. But then I will pick up learning. I'll define learning. After I define learning, discuss about the importance of learning and so on. Then after that, I will go down and also identify the relationship between learning and biology, learning and teaching, learning and ICT, learning and academic achievement. Just follow the same process for each of them. Just that you have to know that when you will be discussing ICT, which is your independent variable, your discussion of ICT now is going to have a little bit of shift from the way you discuss your dependent variable. Here, you will try to let your readers to know ICT's influence on the teaching and learning of biology. Are you getting me? So, while you have introduced what biology, what you have discussed what biology, what learning, what academic achievement and event are, when you are now going to discuss ICT, after you have discussed what ICT is, you also try to bring out relevant work, what other scholars have said, what are findings, what people have said regarding ICT, regarding ICT's influence in teaching and learning. You are going to bring it out and present it in your work, as that is under this identification of relationship between variables. So with that, you are done with conceptual framework. Then mind you again that when you are writing conceptual framework, you should try and create a relationship. There should be a link between each concept as you are dropping them. After discussing biology, before I end my biology, I should be able to create a relationship between biology and teaching. And then after I've discussed teaching, I should be able to create a relationship between teaching and learning. After discussing learning, I should be able to create a relationship between learning and academic achievement. I should also be able to create a relationship between academic achievement and ICT. Do you understand? You should be able to create a link between them. Then the next one after conceptual framework, we have our theoretical framework. A theoretical framework is a structure that explains how research study fits into existing relationship and theories in your field. It provides a context for understanding the underlying mechanism and relationship that drive your research variables. Under this theoretical framework, this is where you present your theories that are backing up your work. You remember in chapter 1, when I was teaching us chapter 1 last week, I told us under significance of the study that you are going to bring out some theories that your work is going to support. That if people read your work, they will say, yes, this theory is true. Are you getting me? So your work now is backing up a theory. You are going to bring out your theories that your work is going to back up. And again, that theory at the other hand is also supporting your work, providing a framework through which your work is being built. The first thing you're going to do, you're going to identify relevant theories and models. For instance, on this topic now, on the influence of ICT, a topic that will be very relevant for this topic is social cognitive theory. Social cognitive theory by Albert Bandura. Social cognitive theory. So you are going to present it now. You now say, okay, social cognitive theory by so person in 19 whatever state that or opposite that so happen, and this one happen and that one happen. Are you getting me? So once you have stated the theory, the next you are going to do is what? You are going to explain how that theory is related to your study. Then you now go to the next one, which is empirical review. An empirical review is a critical analysis and synthesis of existing research studies on your topic. It provides a comprehensive overview of what is currently known about your research question and identifies gaps and limitations in current knowledge. It focuses on the purpose, methodology, and findings. So I'm going to explain what this long English is saying. What this long English is telling us here is that under empirical review, that is where you bring other works that other people have written regarding that thing. That is where you let your learners know that truly that there is actually a gap in this particular problem that you are trying to solve. And how do you do that? You do that by bringing the work that other people have done regarding that problem. All the work that you can lay your hand on ICT, you bring them up. All the work you can lay your hand on academic achievement, you bring them up. Are you getting me? So when you bring this work here now, you arrange them in order based on either on ICT or on academic achievement and so on, depending on how you want to arrange them. What are the things you are going to extract from this work? The things you are going to extract from this work which are needed are the purpose, the methodology, and the findings of those work. From the purpose of the study, the methodology used in the study, and the findings, you will be able to check if there are some gaps you can notice. If there are certain things that you feel that the researchers were supposed to do that they did not do, you will note them down. I'm going to put us through how we are to present our empirical study. How do we do that? When you gather all these works together and you have separated them based on headlines, maybe you separated them based on ICT, works on ICT and works on academic achievement. Let's say I separate them by writing out the purpose of the study, writing out the area where the study was carried out, writing out the method of data collection, the population, the sample, the sampling technique. All those things are under methodology. All those things. So you write down all the methodology. Then after that, I'll write down my findings. What did that work find out? The next one is identifying gaps and limitations from the previous study in relationship to your current study. And how do you do this? First of all, you write out the similarities. What are the similarities between that work you have reviewed and the work you are carrying out? Once you are done with the similarities, the next one is the differences. What differences did you notice between that work you have reviewed and the current work you are carrying out? Then the next one is the summary of the literature. A summary of literature is a concise overview of the main points and findings from your empirical review. It provides a brief summary of the current state of knowledge on your research topic and highlights the implications of your study. So what do we mean here? This is where you summarize everything you have done, right from the conceptual framework, theoretical framework, and the empirical review. This is where you summarize them. You provide an overview of the literature by highlighting key themes and findings. Then you also highlight the implication of your study. So that is where you do all of that. So for example, now using that same topic I gave us, I said here you're going to highlight what has been done in the literature review briefly, highlighting key themes such as ICT use, teacher training, infrastructure, academic performance, and so on. Then I said the implication. This study will investigate the influence of ICT on teaching and learning of biology in Zangokota local government, addressing the gaps identified in the review work. So this is where how we run our summary of literature. So once you have done your summary of literature, you are done with your chapter 2. This is where chapter 2 ends. And then in our next class, we'll be looking at chapter 3. And if you have any question, feel free to drop your questions in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you will not miss out in the next episode. Thank you for watching and God bless you. See you in the next class.